Hi everyone, this is Paul Lange from Disciplined Trading Strategies with this week's Trade of the Week video. This is for the week ending 11/15 of 2020, and the date this occurred was on the 9th. That was on Monday. The stock was M, like Macy's. It was a strategy of a novice tier 2 gap entry 1-minute DTS breakdown play, and the management simple rewards risk about 2.0 to 1. Before I comment on this at all, because I have quite a few comments on this one, as usual, the free stuff this week at DTS. We're loaded with free stuff this week. Monday night is the bi-weekly scanning night. Wednesday night will be the DTS special event, 3 parts of every strategy. If you want to read more about that, you can go to the homepage and there's a banner right on the center of the homepage. You can click and get more information. And then Saturday is going to be the popular Coffee with Paul, or called Coffee with DTS sometimes. Saturday morning just for a quick 30 to 60 minutes and we're done. Kind of free ranging topics, open discussion. Be there if you want to. You will get invites if you are a DTS member. If you're not, go to the DTS homepage, figure out how to become a member so you can receive invites to all of these free events. Here is the daily chart of M. When I pick these, I always let you know why. I try to pick good little educational topics, things that are really fall into place in terms of what I like to do. This was not the best trade this week at all. My best trade was MPC short Thursday around 11:30. You can check out the chart. There was a 4R target. And the next one was actually HPQ. HPQ is an absolute favorite trade of mine, what I love to do whenever I see it, very reliable. But HPQ was sent out to members as a kind of little mini lesson, so I didn't want to duplicate that here in the trade of the week. So I went down to M, which was a very interesting trade and had, I think, some comments that are going to pertain to people having this wrong probably when they looked at the chart initially. So here's the daily chart of M, and this is based on a gap that's going to happen right to there. And after that gap to around 8, the stock ran higher, clearing that entire area. Here's what happened. The stock ran much higher, and then it fell lower. If you think this was a good breakout on the daily chart, you don't really understand charts, because from the moment I saw this gap, I wanted to short it. But the way this formed, I was not able to short it at one of those great entries I like to do. It was actually a late entry for me. But because of the way it's set up, it became one of those moment in times that actually generated really nice profit. Here's a 15-minute chart. There's not a whole lot to learn on this chart. I shorted it right about in there. You can't really see where on the 15. You just see the drop that occurred after the short, because this was much more, I call it a novice gap, but technically it's not a novice gap in terms of the way a novice is taught. This is a gap out of a stage 1 base that it's the equivalent of novice gap because you're going to short it. It's people going long that shouldn't be going long, and a lot of selling is going to come into it. So it has the same effect as a novice gap, but it's not the way that you would typically look at a novice gap as one being extended or something like that. Some people will wrongly look at this as a new breakout, but that's kind of the tail wagging the dog in my point of view. So this was a very high odd short to me, the way that it's set up. Here's the 5-minute chart, and even on this chart, you don't really get to see a lot other than the nice drop. This flew higher initially, and you could have made some money going higher, but I didn't know it would go higher. Sometimes these drop right out of the open. Sometimes they go higher first. But what I do know is that it will drop. I was a little embarrassed I didn't get that high up in here somewhere. Normally I try and do that. I honestly can't remember if I was looking at something else or if I was a little afraid of trying to be too aggressive with this one until I saw some selling come in, because I didn't know where the top was. But the 1-minute chart shows what happened in here. I shorted right in there, 804, 826. And then pretty good target taking, because that second target was really right on the low. And then when I recognized that was going to be the low, I trailed the next target just about in the same area. Here's the 1-minute chart where you really end up seeing the detail of the entry. The 5-minute chart, of course, shows the whole pattern that has evolved, but here was really what caused the entry and what I call that little moment in time. It was right under that area in there. You may look at that and think that that is a buy setup. You should be playing long, and if that's how you're thinking, I have to say, you just don't have a good knowledge of charts, because that, to me, was a 90% drop from there when it failed to go higher. So looking at the whole picture on concepts like this is a very important thing to know and to understand. This is a very high odds trade, and that's why I went after it, even though it wasn't my usual best entry. From here to here, I mean, it was like what, a 2.5-hour move just to where I got into it. So I obviously had very good expectations it would continue dropping. Target 1 right there, starting to trail a first target as it began to bounce a little bit, and then target 2 and target 3 are off the chart here because that's the 1-minute chart, and you saw them back on the 5-minute chart there. Trades like this done in the DTS Trading Room where you take the time to plan out the day, and I am not a scalp type trader. You may or may not like that. I like to get very precise entries, so I often come down to smaller time frames, but looking to hold, like this trade, held for a couple hours, half day, sometimes all day if I can. If you like what you see here, come visit us in the DTS Trading Room. Go over to the webpage and figure out how you can join us in the trading room. Until next time, this is Paul for DTS. Good trading, everybody.